Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get started here. First of all, I want to thank all of you for coming. This is a very special night. It's not something that happens very often. So we won't take a whole lot of time, but I want to kind of give you a little bit of stats just to kind of let you know just how rare this is. This award is American HeartSaver Hero Award, and it's something that, like I said, they don't give out very often. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in the United States. CVD, also known as cardiovascular disease, when someone dies every 37 seconds in the United States from CVD. That's 2,500 people a day that die from CVD. 475,000 people die from cardiac arrest a year. Of that, 350,000 are out of hospital cardiac arrests. And there's only a little over a 90% of that actually they die out in the field. They don't even recover. So studies show that every minute that there's a delay in CPR being performed on a pulseless person, their resuscitation drops by 10%. So according to the studies, after 10 minutes, if you drop every 10% every 10 minutes, if you haven't started CPR in that time frame, there's no chance not a very good chance of resuscitating. So that's why it's so important for CPR to be started immediately when there's a pulseless person to be found. So in Pella, Iowa, on June 24th, 2020, approximately 13:35, I'm going to use military time because that's what we always use in EMS, a female walking on the bike path heard a boom. She saw that a pickup had hit a parked vehicle in front of Plant 3, and she called the Vermeer office. The Vermeer office immediately called security and told security of an accident, and said if they hurried, they could catch the driver before he drove off. Vermeer security, Dan Jennings, Patrick Cooper, and Michael Clark went immediately to the scene. Vermeer security observed a male slumped over and advised via radio to call 911. At 13:37, 43 seconds, Vermeer security called 911 dispatch. Vermeer security checked patient's pulse and believed they could feel a faint pulse at that time. At 13:40 and 1 second, EMS and police were dispatched to Vermeer for an unconscious male in a vehicle in front of Plant 3. At 13:40 and 30 seconds, which was 29 seconds after dispatch, Officer Matt Huston arrived on scene. Upon his arrival, Vermeer security and Officer Huston removed Kyle Neuendorf from the truck and placed him on the ground, where Officer Huston immediately started CPR compressions. At 13:42 and 27 seconds, about a minute and a half later, Officer Veenstra arrived and immediately placed an AED on Kyle. Kyle was shocked, and CPR was resumed. At 13:44:02, Pella ambulance crew of Sara, Schilling, Josh Cheek, and Nial Van Wyk arrived 4 minutes from the time they were dispatched. As they arrived, officers were delivering a second shot from the AED. The EMS crew took over and applied the Lucas device to Kyle, and they started an IV, and they delivered medications and breaths. Kyle was then loaded and placed in an ambulance. Another shock was delivered at 13:57. Pella ambulance went en route to Pella Regional Hospital. Another shock was delivered at 1400. At this time, Kyle had ROSC. What ROSC is return of spontaneous circulation. He had a pulse. At 14:02, Pella ambulance arrived at the hospital. Kyle lost pulse again at the hospital and was shocked a couple more times in the ER, where they again achieved ROSC and was then flown by helicopter to a Des Moines hospital. Pre-hospital time from when EMS and officers were dispatched to when patient was delivered into the ER was 22 minutes. As stated by the statistics earlier, we lose more CPRs than we ever save. I know EMS personnel personally that have never seen a save in their 30 years in their career. Pella Ambulance has had 4 in the last 2 years, and 2 of those have achieved HeartSaver Hero Award status. It is because of the quick actions of these individuals that are with us today that Kyle is with us here today. American Heart Association is recognizing these individuals with the HeartSaver Hero Award. I'm going to have Kyle come forward. Kyle's going to hand out the awards that we have. Our first one we have is Dan Jennings, his security for Vermeer Security. Our second one we have is Patrick Cooper, also with Vermeer Security. Our third one is Michael Clark, also with Vermeer Security. Our next one is Kaci Visser, dispatcher for the police department. They got everybody out there as fast as they could. Our next is Officer Matt Huston, who was the first officer to arrive on scene. Our next is Officer Shawn Veenstra, who brought the AED to the scene that was used to shock him. Our next is Paramedic Sara Schilling with Pella Ambulance. Our next one, even though he cannot be here, is he on there? Is Josh Cheek. He was in my last EMT class that you guys had last fall. Josh Cheek is an EMT with us. He cannot be here, but he has COVID. So he can stay there. And our last one is Nial, an EMT who was also in my last EMT class. Nial. Kyle, the floor is yours.
I don't like to be put on the spot, but I'm here because of you people, and I can't thank you enough. I need to be my family. And I took a CPR class way back when, got certified. Never thought a thing of it, and look what it can do. So it's just amazing. It's a godsend, a miracle, and thank you so much. So thank you again. Thank you.
I want to thank all you guys that were here for this to help share in this event. I also want to thank American Heart for making this award possible. I want to thank these responders for their work that they did. It's all about timing, and it's not responding, so good job. So thank you. We'll have cake, guys. Thank you.